Courtney. Welcome to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk to you guys about endometriosis. And if that's something you're not really comfortable talking about, I definitely click out of this video. I'm trying to be as informative as possible. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but I will be talking about my experiences. And I want to offer as much advice as I possibly can to girls and women that have similar problems as I do. And I apologize for looking terrible. I do not feel well today, and that's kind of what prompted me to make this video. Anyways, so I'm just going to jump into it. Alright, so I started my period when I was 11 years old. I knew that I wasn't normal as far as how normal my friends were with theirs. They were all excited and everything, and I was kind of excited to get it as well. But, I mean, at the same time, you know, I kind of dreaded it. I think everyone dreads it a little bit because you don't know what to expect. So, when it finally arrived, I was excited and nervous. But quickly, I realized that what I was dealing with was not what everyone else dealt with. And I learned that when I went back to school, because I started the summer before I went to middle school. And in middle school, we had PE. And that was the first year that you had to change in front of everyone. So when you were on your period, the coaches would let you go and change in the stall. But if they found out that you were doing it when you weren't on your period, or if you did it for way too long, then you would get in trouble. And I'm telling you this because I would be on my period for 2.5 weeks at a time. And eventually this girl I didn't get along with too well decided to go and tell on me. And she said that I've been in there for 2 weeks straight, and the coaches came and talked to me. I told them that I was on my period, and they did not believe me. They said, no, periods are only supposed to last, I think they said 3 to 7 days. And I was like, well, it hasn't been that long for me, it's been a lot longer. And they told me I was lying. So I knew then that what I was dealing with was by no means normal. So after about 6 months of that, my periods started to normalize, and they got to be a little bit shorter. But I always dealt with a lot more pain than my friends did. Whereas they would have some cramping, they would be a little moody, maybe a little nauseous. I was bedridden a lot of the time. I couldn't move. My periods were just awful. So anyways, I fast forward a couple years when I was 16. No, when I was 13, 14. 13 and 14 comes first. So when I was 13 and 14, my periods started to get much worse. Much, much worse. So I would miss school by that point. I was about to be in high school, but I would miss so many days of school. I was just constantly sick. I had terrible headaches that I had to get CAT scans for, and it was all hormonal related. So I had to deal with all these things at a very young age. So I eventually, after years and years of just being on like ibuprofen and Tylenol and just missing so much school, eventually, like when I turned 16, I started having other issues. I was diagnosed with PCOS at that point. They had found a few cysts. However, they were never really big cysts. They were really tiny. They said, I think the biggest one I ever had that they know of, that they've seen and they measured, was 1/4 of a centimeter. So really tiny. So, sorry, the dog's eating something she shouldn't be. So with that, when I turned 16, I had problems with my appendix. I didn't have my appendix never was infected, never burst, nothing, never was enlarged. But they went ahead and took it because while they did find a cyst, they knew that that wasn't what was causing my pain. So I missed 2.5 weeks of my senior year due to a cyst and getting my appendix taken out. So once they took my appendix out, my primary doctor told me that she was just going to go ahead and put me on birth control. So I went ahead and started with birth control, and that helped me for a good 6 months. When it stopped working, unfortunately, I could no longer go see my primary doctor. I had lost insurance, but I am Native American and I live in Oklahoma, so I was able to go to the Indian clinic. At the Indian clinic, and if you have any experience with the Indian clinic, you know the kind of hell you go through with the Indians. I went there when I was 17, and I didn't get to see a doctor. I saw a nurse practitioner. And she told me that I was too young to go through that type of surgery to diagnose endometriosis, even though she highly suspected I had it. So what she chose to do to diagnose me was Lupron. I don't know if any of you know what Lupron is, but it's the worst thing ever. I can't stress that enough. Seriously, if you have endo or you're suspected of endo, do not let those doctors touch you with that drug. It is the worst thing that had ever happened to me. Anyways, I'll get more into a rant on that one later. So anyways, I was very hesitant to do that because I didn't want to go through menopause, and that's what Lupron does. It puts your body through menopause. I was only 17. So the doctor thought I was too young to do a laparoscopic surgery at 17, but thought, hey, let's put a 17-year-old through menopause. That should be great for her body. Yeah. That is seriously what she decided to do with me. And I was very hesitant to do it, but they had pretty much convinced my mom at that point, which I don't blame her at all. And they had told me, the nurse did that was giving me the shot, she goes, well, if you don't take it, you must not actually be in any type of pain, and you just want to get out of school. Yeah, a 17-year-old not wanting to go through menopause, just wants to get out of school. I should do another video about the terrible doctors I've had to deal with throughout the years. Anyways, so I went through Lupron for 3 months, and it was terrible. I had the worst mood swings. My mom told me I was probably the meanest person, and that's saying a lot coming from my mom. Not that my mom's mean. I mean, she's had to deal with some people that were. Sorry about that. But she said I was very mean, and not only that, I was just in constant pain. And it wasn't necessarily endo. My endo did improve slightly when I was on it. However, I had other issues as well when I was on it. I had to deal with, I felt like I had the flu. I constantly just felt like I had the flu. My muscles and everything, they just really hurt. So I decided to stop it after 3 months. I was supposed to be on it for 6, and I told them I was done. I would not do it again. So they just said, okay, well, here, you just go on birth control. And that's what I did. Unfortunately, being on Lupron and taking so many different painkillers, at the age of 18, my stomach was destroyed. I had ulcers at 18. I had to go through so many procedures for that. I had to go to the hospital several times for things regarding that, and I was in massive debt by the time I turned 18. So I had to deal with multiple procedures just from this drug, and like ibuprofen and stuff on top of it. It destroyed my body, and I cannot recommend it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do your research on it, and seriously, just don't do it. There's other things that are available that are proven to be more effective. So anyways, so after I did Lupron and after all my ulcers and everything like that, I tried naturopath for a while. And it helped for a little bit. I will give it that. And I did go gluten-free for a while. I went vegan for a little while. And while it would work for a little bit, eventually it would stop. And my symptoms would get worse again. So while I did that, I decided that I'd had enough. So fast forward to today, I'm now fighting to be able to get a surgery for my endometriosis done. I'm tired of being in pain all the time. I I can hardly work anymore. And the thing about endometriosis that people don't tend to understand is they think it's just a bad period. It's not. My symptoms affect me every day of the month almost. I have good days and I have bad days. But sometimes, like last week, I wasn't on my period and I was in intense pain. My back hurts. I feel like I am on the worst period of my life. And I'm not even on my period. So it affects every aspect of your life. Sex is excruciating. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. Don't watch my video. But sex is very painful. Everyday life is just painful. And it shouldn't be that way. So while all of these things happen, it's not something you want to go through, and it's not something you want to have to deal with. Go see a doctor and try to find someone that specializes in endometriosis. Unfortunately for me, I tried to do that recently, and the doctor was an idiot. She told me, I just got a letter back from her. She tried to push Lupron on me again. Like twice. She mentioned it twice in the same appointment I just met her. And I told her I'd done it and I would never do it again. And she tried to push it. She said she'd rather do that than do surgery. I knew then I wasn't going to stick with her. But she did my annual exam. And she sent me a letter the other day. And it said that my pap smear results had come back completely normal. And she did not believe that any further treatment was necessary. You cannot diagnose endometriosis through a pap smear, through an exam, through an ultrasound, or even a CAT scan. It can only be diagnosed through a surgery, and I have yet to find a doctor that is willing to do it for me. I want to do it very badly, and I want to get diagnosed for sure. Every doctor has said they're pretty sure I have it. Well, pretty sure is not good enough to describe my pain anymore. I've dealt with cysts. I know what that feels like. I've had cyst rupture. I know what that feels like. I know that there's something going on with my body, and I know my body better than anyone else does. So to have a doctor invalidate you is so wrong. If a doctor does that, you need to find another one. I am going to go to another appointment, and I will keep my story and my progress updated. I'm really pushing for this surgery because, one, it will help with a diagnosis, and I will know 100% for sure that I do have it. Secondly, while they're in there, they can burn some of it off and relieve some of that. It doesn't work for everyone necessarily, I've heard, but it's worth a shot, and I'm ready to take it. So that's my journey with endometriosis this far. I want to keep you guys updated just so I can, talking about it is such a relief. And I'm so lucky to have so many people in my lives that support me. My husband is very understanding, and he's there for me when I'm in pain, and I love him so much, and he takes such good care of me. My family, they fight for me to get things done medically, and they want to see this done. They're tired of seeing me be in pain, and I have so many friends that are like, yes, you need this done. You need to stop being in pain, and I'm ready to get back to being myself and do what I want to do, and not be hindered by me being in pain. I'm ready to start, losing weight, going to the gym, doing stuff like that, getting back to work on a regular basis. I'm ready for it. And I'm not going to be told no. Anyways, guys, so that's my story with endometriosis. I hope that you gained some insight from it if you were just curious as to what endometriosis is about, or if you're looking for someone who's going through something similar to you. And if you are, reach out to me. I will gladly respond and help you in any way that I possibly can. All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you later.